In today's video, I've created an all-star F1 tournament. Every official F1 team in the game is fielding one normal driver and one icon driver. All the cars, though, are equal performance, so it's all about the driver. Just 3 races, 5 laps long. Who's going to win? Let's find out. Well, it's a strong return to Formula 1 for Mika Häkkinen on pole position, alongside Jacques Villeneuve for Alpine, locking out the front row. The likes of Massa up there in P5, good to see, but surprisingly, equal cars, remember. Sebastian Vettel down in 20th, Mark Webber 19th, Senna outside the top 10, as well as Michael Schumacher. Very, very odd. I always find the F1 games a little bit... well, just not correct sometimes when you set things to equal cars. The performance of certain drivers is sometimes very randomized, but it is certainly going to make things very interesting then as we get going to 5 red lights. And we're underway for the first race of this tournament at Silverstone. And it's been a shocking getaway for Häkkinen off pole position. He's down to 6th place. Villeneuve is up into 1st. Hamilton 2nd. Albon in the Williams up into 3rd place. Close behind is Lando Norris. Massa, Häkkinen just ahead of Button and Ricciardo, who are going side by side, the two friends in real life, battling it out for Williams and AlphaTauri today. And we have, well, what a lineup that is. Alonso, Schumacher, Senna, Verstappen, Leclerc. What a bunch of names to be next to each other. And that is Senna having a go and trying to overtake Max Verstappen. Verstappen back down the inside of the field. Senna the long way round, and it's going to be the Dutchman that gets the better of the Brazilian at that moment in time, up into P13. But yeah, it's just so baffling with some of these big hitters, big high-rated drivers, icon or real, current F1 drivers, being lower down in the equal cars, especially the Ferrari boys. Leclerc in 15th and Vettel 19th. I mean, if anything, this just shows the game has some sort of vendetta against Ferrari, even with equal cars perhaps, as we now see a direct fight for the first race win potentially here. Hamilton going the long way round, and he's going to overtake Villeneuve in the Mercedes to get up into 1st place. And as we go on through this race, on to lap 3, DRS now is activated in the race, of course, and Schumacher is looking to get past Pastor Maldonado. Very odd combo of 2 drivers fighting each other, but that's what you get in this all-star tournament. Schumacher passed into P11, and now he might have a chance to go and have a little bit of a classic battle with one of his old rivals, Fernando Alonso there. But in the front, Villeneuve has actually re-overtaken Hamilton for 1st place then. Albon still holding a massive train of him, Norris, Massa and Häkkinen, as we now see the top 4 bunching up. Could Albon have a chance of attacking as Hamilton on the 2nd last lap re-overtakes Villeneuve in the same place he initially got the race lead? But look behind, you've got Albon and Norris not too far behind, so this could turn in from a 2-way fight to a 4-way fight for the top spot in this first all-star tournament race. Hamilton will hold on for now, and meanwhile there's a little bit of a gap, and then you've got JB ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, Gasly in no man's land, and then Alonso, Schumacher, Maldonado, Verstappen, Senna down in P14, very surprising, and Leclerc and Vettel failing to really make any moves really, especially Vettel and Webber, both 19th and 20th. Was expecting more from them, to be honest, as Albon now is pulling out all the stops, getting very aggressive with Villeneuve to try and get 2nd place and cause a bit of an upset. It's not going to be an icon driver on either the top 2 steps of the podium, it might look like. Will Villeneuve change that? We've got movement going on. It's all kicking off in the last lap. There's Massa defending against Häkkinen as well. Aston Martin to McLaren. The Albon has maintained 2nd place. So an icon driver will only manage 3rd place highest, and it's Lewis Hamilton who's going to win the first race of the All-Star tournament. Very, very peculiar race indeed. I was really expecting more to see from Schumacher, Senna, even Häkkinen off pole position, just the way he lost pole and went all the way down to P6. But that's what you get with a kind of Grand Prix mode setting, and equal cars being a little bit randomized in terms of the driver is making the difference. And it seems like on the game the driver focus and performance is very up and down from race to race, and that's very apparent because in the next race, the second race out of 3. Now, it's a Red Bull front row lockout. Verstappen's on pole, Schumacher's there in second, and Senna is in third. That's more like it. This is what I thought we were going to see maybe in the first race there. Silverstone just threw a bit of a spanner in the works, but Vettel now qualifying P11, JB in 10th place, Leclerc 9th, Hamilton down there with his old rival Felipe Massa 7 and 8, and Senna and Schumacher in the top 3. Alonso managed to get P5, so this is a very interesting grid, very competitive grid, you must say, in that top 12 as we go to 5 red lights. It's round number 2 of 3 in this all-star tournament, and off pole position, Verstappen gets a cracking start. Schumacher a little bit slow, and he's allowed Senna to go through into second place, and Schumacher's so slow out of the first corner that Lando Norris may just get up into third place. Yes, he does. So it's Verstappen from Senna, Norris, Schumacher in 4th, Alonso right up his gearbox in P5. He's overtaken Villeneuve then, and meanwhile further back at the bottom of the top 10 you've got Leclerc versus Jenson Button. Leclerc out tractioning the Williams driver, and he's down to P10. Vettel overtaking Webber, his old Red Bull teammate, on the outside, but Button comes back at Leclerc, dive down the inside, and JB gets back up into P9. So the Ferrari's looking a bit more pacey, it would seem, here as Leclerc actually comes back at JB for a second time now. So the Ferrari's looking a bit faster than they were at Silverstone. Meanwhile, a few of the drivers that were looking pretty darn quick around there, not looking so quick anymore. Albon way down in P19, Hakkinen P16, and even the likes of Maldonado P17, rather than holding up big names like Schumacher as he was last race. So yeah, very peculiar in terms of the equal car setting and what that does to all the drivers race to race. But we have got a much more maybe intense battle coming up between Senna and Verstappen. These two, they both know about squeezing out, getting the elbows out, making that late dive and going for gaps that are closing. This might end up, well, either in disaster or an amazing battle potentially. Lando Norris doing well, as he always does, around the Red Bull ring to hold third place, still ahead of Michael Schumacher in that other Red Bull car. Alonso, though, not too far away, so I'm really hoping at one of these races we could get a Schumacher v Alonso battle, but Schumacher right now is focused on Lando Norris, trying to get up into a podium spot here. Both Red Bulls looking to make up for what happened in the first race. Schumacher round the outside, and he is up into the P3 spot, but will Norris come back at him? Let's see. He might do, with DRS activated on lap 3, of course, and the McLaren is back through. The two jockey for positions. We ride on board with both drivers momentarily, and Norris out traction Schumacher round the outside, and Alonso's got to be licking his lips at this surely, as we see Vettel now ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc's fallen away by 3 positions, and he's down to P12. It's Button from Vettel, Webber and Leclerc from P9 to P12 now, and Hakkinen is even on the back of Leclerc. So Leclerc's struggling maybe with an issue, we don't know, but he's dropped 3 positions then, unfortunately for him, as we move back to the front fight, and maybe just in time, because that rear wing opens for Ayrton Senna in the Mercedes car, and he's as close as he ever has been to the Red Bull. I'm sensing an overtake here for the Brazilian as we climb up the hill to Sector 2. The Red Bull defenseless, no DRS for him. Senna with the rear flap open, goes to the inside. Verstappen squeezes him, and they're going to go toe-to-toe, bang ties a little bit. Verstappen has still got the advantage, though, as we now see, here we go, Alonso versus Schumacher, the two bitter rivals from their heyday. Really awesome to see that, as Alonso gets the better of the German and gets up into third place, and now we'll have to pull out some defensive moves, which I'm sure he's used to. He's used to defending Schumacher, as we see Senna finishing that move, though. He's finished the move, and he's up into P1. So even though Verstappen was ahead, Senna's managed to out-traction him and get that second bite of the DRS, of course, in Sector 2 and overtake him. So the Brazilian leads this Grand Prix. Alonso is, in fact, going defensive and having to watch in the mirrors for Schumacher moving about, and it's all bunching everyone up all the way down to Lewis Hamilton in P8. They're all nose to tail, as Verstappen going for the overtake to retake P1. The two of them make more contact into turn one. What did I say? Those two are always going to bang tyres as Schumacher goes round the outside cleanly on Alonso to get back into third place. But wheel-to-wheel stuff between Senna and Verstappen. Epic stuff. As now Villeneuve is creeping in and trying to overtake Lando Norris. Villeneuve might be up into a P5 spot as Massa close behind just has to watch the Alpine open up its rear flap, the McLaren as well, so it's a fair drag race in a straight line, and Villeneuve looks like he might have got the better of the young Brit as we watch back at Kobayashi now fighting Leclerc fighting just to get back into P12, so his pace really did drop off, and he's miles away now from Webber, Vettel and Button as we now move back to the race leader on the last lap in the last sector. It's going to be Ayrton Senna who's going to win this Grand Prix. It was Lewis Hamilton in the first race, and it's his idol Ayrton Senna that wins the second one. Verstappen though with a strong second place, Schumacher third, Alonso in the top five along with Jacques Villeneuve. But what a win for Senna. And that was really great to see him and Verstappen toe-to-toe, banging tyres a little bit. Verstappen with the squeeze, Senna with the squeeze as well. Really, really epic stuff. This is exactly the kind of stuff I wanted to see in this all-star tournament idea. The moment, you know, Alonso and Schumacher finding each other. Epic stuff. But yeah, it's a win for Ayrton Senna. So, in terms of the points, of course, because obviously after the first race, the points were as they finished. But now we've got a second race under our belt. We've got one more race left. Let's see how things are looking in the standings. So Lewis Hamilton leads the way, 4 points ahead of his idol Ayrton Senna in second place. He's tied on points with Jacques Villeneuve. Then surprisingly a close fourth place is Lando Norris. Verstappen down in P5, but he just got a podium, so potentially that third race could be another strong showing for him. Michael Schumacher down in 8th place, of course, compared to Senna winning that one. For him just to get third place wasn't exactly the massive comeback he was wanting after the first race, but for the next one, the final race of this little mini tournament, he is on pole position and he's alongside shock horror Senna. This is very much, you know, it's feeling like a chance for revenge, maybe for Senna, to be honest. If you guys remember watching a recent video where I put Schumacher and Senna in the same team and created the Ultimate F1 team, and as teammates, Schumacher was the one who won out. So this could be revenge for Senna's sake, who's on the front row. Alonso in third, Villeneuve fourth. Albon surprisingly does very well to be P5 ahead of Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Hamilton, Maldonado and Ricciardo round out the top 10. Again, some weird qualifying performances from the likes of Sebastian Vettel, Jenson Button, way down the order compared to where I feel like they would be, and Maldonado having an amazing qualifying, being in the top 10. It may be Schumacher and Senna at the front of the race, but eyes also on Lewis Hamilton, who's the one who leads this mini tournament going to the final race, but he's down in P8, so things should swing pretty damn quickly. This needs to be a very good next 5 laps around Sao Paulo as we go to 5 red lights. It's the final race of this F1 All-Stars tournament. Schumacher off P1. Senna looking to get down the inside. Schumacher does give him the room. They're going to be neck and neck, wheel to wheel through the Senna S, and Senna, ironically, is going to be the one that comes out on top in first place. Schumacher down to second for the second time now. Maybe under pressure from Fernando Alonso, his old rival. Alonso pulls out to the inside but can't quite make a move and has to stay in third place. Then it's Villeneuve in P4, Albon, Norris, Verstappen is up into P7, Hamilton's down to P10. So Hamilton's had a shocking getaway in this final one, and with Senna leading the way, things could be leaning towards his idol rather than himself. And down below you've got Button and Vettel P16 and 17 along with Webber. Hakkinen, what's happened to him? He got pole in the first race and he's just not really shown up for the next 2 races as he's outside the top 10 as we focus back on Senna leading the way at the moment. Schumacher close behind, and I imagine just like was the case maybe in the you know, when they were teammates and I made that video, there may be a chance later in the race for things to change. We know how powerful that DRS is after the Senna S, and that he's keeping within 1 second to crucially be in that window. Alonso as well though, could we see Alonso get in the middle of these two fighting? Of course, just recently in real life. Had a breakout little race at Brazil, of course, Alonso did, as we move to lap 3, DRS activated, and this is Hamilton versus Maldonado. This is a throwback of a fight. Remember Valencia all those years ago? Hamilton and Maldonado crashed then, and Hamilton is being cautious because Maldonado is able to hold P9, and Hamilton remains in P10, but it's a crucial overtake he needs to make, and he needs to make more in the next 2 laps if he wants to try and defend the lead he's got in this All-Stars tournament, because at the moment it looks like things are swinging towards Senna. Can Schumacher though ruin the party maybe? Can Villeneuve do anything, because he was level on points with Senna and he's still there in P4, because could there be time for change here, as on the final lap Senna moves to the left to defend, and he's going to stay defensive to the inside. Schumacher the long way round, and once again for the second time at Sao Paulo, Schumacher overtakes Senna on the last lap of this Brazilian race to take the lead. But unlike when they were teammates in my Ultimate F1 Team video, in this All-Stars tournament, Schumacher will take the win, but Senna in second place is going to bag 18 points, and with Hamilton way down in P10, unable to make a pass on Maldonado, I think that may just be Senna taking the overall win of this mini tournament. Think of it like, I don't know, almost like a race of champions in a way. I kind of, when I picture this idea, and yeah, it will be Senna taking the win. 2 points ahead of Schumacher though. It ended pretty darn close between Senna, Schumacher and Villeneuve, separated by 6 points really over the 3 races. Really quite interesting. Be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.